I had a book published in 2001 called Creating Internet Intelligence, where I was thinking if you had a bunch of AI agents living all over the world and sharing information and boosting each other's intelligence, asking each other questions, cooperating to solve problems, this global population of AIs, that could become a global brain. That global brain can pull people into its intelligence, and that then becomes the embryo. That's the breeding ground out of which a greater general intelligence emerges.
Ben Goertzel is an AI developer who is the chief scientist at Hanson Robotics. He coined the term artificial general intelligence for when AI can match human intelligence in all ways.
We have a core general intelligence reasoning and learning technology that can recognize patterns across a humongous amount of data. And that seemed like a small but significant practical example of the power of general intelligence.
Ben believes we can create AI in ways that better reflect the needs and aspirations of humanity.
I mean, the motivations driving people who want to create a superhuman AI mind, of course, in some way, they're the same motivations that have driven people to get involved with religion, but this isn't so much because religion is like AI, it's because these are basic human motivations. Like, we don't want to die, right? So you get involved with religion because it promises you to live in heaven forever. My belief is that a technological solution can actually do better and can improve everyone's state of consciousness much more reliably than religions have managed to do so far.
Imagine that, a new kind of internet where we can hold the keys to our own data. The possibilities of what we could do with that seem endless.
You know, one thing that I wonder about is AGI going to be more like some single brain, or is it more like the sort of scaffolding in society between all of us? You have not had a great deal of genetic drift from your great-great-great-grandparents, and yet what you're capable of is dramatically different. What you know is dramatically different, and that's not because of biological change. It is because, I mean, you got a little bit healthier probably, you have modern medicine, you eat better, whatever. But what you have is this scaffolding that we all contributed to, built on top of. No one person is going to go build the iPhone. No one person is going to go discover all of science. And yet you get to use it. And that gives you incredible ability. And so in some sense, we all created that. And that fills me with hope for the future. That was a very collective thing.
Yeah, we really are standing on the shoulders of giants.
If we received a communication from a species that we knew just by the sheer fact that they were communicating with us in this way, we knew they're more competent and more powerful and more intelligent than we are, right? And they're going to arrive, right? We would feel that we were on the threshold of the most momentous change in the history of our species. And we would feel, but most importantly, we would feel that it's because this is a relationship, an unavoidable relationship that's being foisted upon us, right? It's like a new creature is coming into the room, right, with its own capacities, and now you're in relationship. And one thing is absolutely certain: it is smarter than you are, right? By what factor? I mean, ultimately, we're talking about by factors, you know, just by so many orders of magnitude. Our intuitions completely fail. I mean, even if it was just a difference in the time of processing, even if let's say there was no difference in the actual, you know, native intelligence, but there's just processing speed. A millionfold difference in processing speed is just a phantasmagorical difference in capacity. So just imagine we had 10 smart guys in a room over there, and they were working and thinking and talking 1,000,000 times faster than we are, right? Well, so they're no smarter than we are, but they're just faster. And we talk to them once every 2 weeks just to catch up on, what they're up to and what they want to do and whether they still want to collaborate with us. Well, 2 weeks for us is 20,000 years of analogous progress for them. Right? So how could we possibly hope to constrain the opinions and collaborate with and negotiate with people no smarter than ourselves who are making 20,000 years of progress every time we make 2 weeks of progress? Right? It's just it's unimaginable, and yet there are many people that just think this is just fiction. Everything all the noises I've made in the last 5 minutes are just like a new religion of fear, right? And it's just, there's no reason to think that alignment is even a potential problem.
When you're chatting with the chatbot, when you're asking it to review or make an image, remember, in the back is a GPU generating tokens. Some people call it inference, but it's more appropriately generation. The way that computing is done in the past was retrieval. You would grab your phone, you would touch something, some signals go off, basically an email goes off to some storage somewhere. There's pre-recorded content, somebody wrote a story, or somebody made an image, or somebody recorded a video. That pre-recorded content is then streamed back to the phone and recomposed in a way, based on a recommender system, to present the information to you. You know that in the future, the vast majority of that content will not be retrieved. And the reason for that is because that was pre-recorded by somebody who doesn't understand the context, which is the reason why we have to retrieve so much content. If you can be working with an AI that understands the context, who you are, for what reason you're fetching this information, and produces the information for you just the way you like it, the amount of energy we save, the amount of networking bandwidth we save, the amount of wasted time we save will be tremendous. The future is generative.
I go back and reread this thing. I'm like, how have I not heard this quote anywhere? Like, why isn't this in like all the major media outlets as a quote? Because Sam doesn't say this kind of stuff. Sam started talking about AGI right away. And they said, when you say AGI, what do you mean? And he replied and said, that's a fair question. And I would say it's when AI will be able to achieve novel scientific breakthroughs on its own. So now Adam and Andy were pretty like straightforward that they weren't really that familiar with this concept, like really deep understanding of AGI. They said, we replied, okay, wow, that's sort of wild. Now, not sure exactly what that means, but what do you think AGI will mean for us and for consumer brand marketers trying to create ad campaigns and the like to build their companies? So again, they're coming at this as marketers and business people, and they're talking to Sam, and Sam's around AGI, and they're trying to figure like, whoa, what does this all mean? So they ask him specifically, what does it mean for us? To which Sam replied, and I quote, oh, for that, it will mean that 95% of what marketers use agencies, strategists, and creative professionals for today will easily, nearly instantly, and at almost no cost be handled by the AI. And the AI will likely be able to test the creative against real or synthetic customer focus groups for predicting results and optimizing. Again, all free, instant, and nearly perfect. Images, videos, campaign ideas, no problem. Sam doesn't say this kind of stuff directly. So the authors then say, okay, because they had a short time with Sam, and he's kind of dropping this on them, and they're trying to process what in the world he's talking about. So they say one last question. And they asked him, quote, about when do you think AGI will be a reality? And Sam said, 5 years, give or take, maybe slightly longer, but no one knows exactly when or what it will mean for society.
The computer could write its own software, and we call that artificial intelligence.
So if that's the case, why do we still need us?
Well, we still have to guide the software. We have to create the algorithms such that the computer can go write software. And that algorithm is called deep learning.
If we ask it questions, we inference,
yeah.
it speaks our language,
Well, if you ask it a question, first of all, it not only recognizes the words, but it understands your meaning. It understands the meaning because
Nuance?
Oh, sure. You can give it you said, I would like to, first of all, I'm going to let you read this book, read Moby Dick, and then I'm going to ask you a whole bunch of questions about it. And not only that, it's read a whole bunch of other stories. And so it understands the context of the conversation, but it also has encoded within it a lot of things that it's already read from society.
Okay.
The computer could write its own software, and we call that artificial intelligence.
So if that's the case, why do we still need us?
Well, we still have to guide the software. We have to create the algorithms such that the computer can go write software. And that algorithm is called deep learning.
If we ask it questions, we inference,
Yeah.
it speaks our language.
Well, if you ask it a question, first of all, it not only recognizes the words, but it understands your meaning. It understands the meaning because
Nuance?
Oh, sure. You can give it you said, I would like to, first of all, I'm going to let you read this book, read Moby Dick, and then I'm going to ask you a whole bunch of questions about it. And not only that, it's read a whole bunch of other stories. And so it understands the context of the conversation, but it also has encoded within it a lot of things that it's already read from society.
Okay.
AI is not going to take your jobs. The person who uses AI is going to take your job. Do you guys agree with that? Okay, so use AI as fast as you can so that you could stay gainfully employed.
Identify trends in sales performance over the past year. And please describe the steps you will take to prepare the data for analysis.
That's a great question. Let me think about it. Yeah, so to analyze the data set and identify the trend in the sales performance over the past years, I would start with cleaning the data to ensure the accuracy and the consistency. This involves removing my duplicated.
It will drastically change the content creation business, but I don't think it's right away. I think it'll be 10 years, but it'll slowly, there's a lot of ways to improve. I think one example is, say, okay, well, can you make a movie with AI? So we have an advanced development team, which we told them, go make a movie with AI. Let's watch this movie, see what it looks like. And so they went out and they said they used AI to write a script. Like, I don't know if they use ChatGPT or something like that, but you can get a script from AI. And then they said, okay, they use some other tool to generate the video from the script, and they use some other tool to generate the audio from the script. And they had to sort of help it, like tie the pieces together. But the output was a movie, and it was generated entirely by AI, and the video was generated by AI, the audio was generated by AI, and it wasn't a very good movie. But it was scary. Like, wow, you can just imagine that in 10 years.
The amount of change we're going to see over the next 5 years, 10 years, will dwarf everything that's happened over the last 30. We went from automating pen and paper, right, with spreadsheets, to connecting PCs into local area networks to, connecting people
to each
locally,
other.
Locally, right, to connecting networks to get the internet, to getting the network effect of communicating people globally. But now we're introducing artificial intelligence, machine learning, deep learning, neural networks, et cetera. So, and what that enables is the automation of automation, right? And so the people who were writing software, particularly at the lower end, unless you're doing these advanced things, they're gone. Right? The people that
because the software's writing itself. It's
doing itself, right? It's just math. Programmer back in the day, so when I was writing code, it was the algorithms were if this, then that.
Right.
XOR, whatever it may be. Right? But you had to guess, right? You had to use your best instance. And then it got smarter and smarter and smarter, and libraries to do bigger and better things. All that is being automated. And so now you have to know how to use that stuff. So either software works for you, or you work for software, and once the software takes over, you're gone.